welcome to Here Be Dragons. Apparently, we are your hosts today.
We're always your hosts.
Yes, yeah, we are. We are. I'm John Webster, and across
Nessie?
from me is Nessie. Stephen is feeling ill today, so we are not doing our pre-planned topic of Vox Machina Season 2. That will be postponed to a later date. So I think we said 2 weeks from today, being that way you'll be here. So yeah, we're going to be kind of all over the map today. First of all, how are you doing, Nessie?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Had a wonderful couple of days off. I was binge watching a great show today. I didn't have any responsibilities. I made some chicken wings. I mean, what's not to like? Now I get to hang out in the dragon pit with, a main man, John.
God, you said chicken wings, and now I'm hungry for chicken wings, even though I'm now trying to watch what I'm eating. So fried chicken is not the way to go.
Yeah. Well, it's not fried. They're baked, and they're like, a little less terrible for you. So
yeah,
I have my chicken wings. I'm, trying to. Okay, Ice and Fire Con's coming up, and the countdown has started. I want to be able to fit into my cosplay.
I mean, I'm trying like my last minute. Last minute. I have 2 months, but it's sort of my last minute. Like, oh shit, I'd actually like to maybe drop a couple pounds for for the convention. Not as many as I would like, but there we have it. Okay, so we're just rambling to start off talking about chicken wings. I did want to start off like we're going to jump around, but we'll do a little bit on topic to start off because I did not get the chance to, and I don't think you did either, to talk about season 1 of The Legend of Vox Machina.
No, I didn't. I wasn't. I didn't get a chance to, but obviously I enjoyed that quite a bit. It was a good way to kick off the series, introduce the players, so to speak. You get a little bit of, you got a little bit of background information. Really, it was a very short, sweet introduction to all the players. We got to get a little flavor for like the different places and the story that they were. The main arc of that season was a pretty self-contained, short, sweet. They were able to, tie it up within the one season. So I think it was a good choice on their part.
Well, it's funny because I had tried to like start watching the first episode a while back, and as happens with me a lot, the first episode didn't completely grab me, so I didn't go much further. But the thing is, like, even though those initial first 2 episodes do end up setting the stage for stuff that comes later down the line, it's not really the crux of what season 1 is.
No.
You don't get to that story until episode 3, and then like once I hit episode 3, I was sold into this show. Just you got, and that's why like I told Stephen Percy was my favorite character for season 1, just because he is the focal point, and he's the one with the tragic backstory. And and I just love the villains for that season. The Briarwoods.
They're all yeah.
They're so deliciously fun, and
and aren't they relationship goals? I mean, they are devoted to one another. It's like a beautiful love story. Yeah, it was a good intro, and as a veteran of hundreds of hours of listening to see campaign 1 of Critical Role, this I, they stuck pretty. They trimmed a lot of the fat,
Mm.
thankfully. Thankfully, because there's no way that it would have, I don't think that it would have played well on the small screen, just doing it long form campaign style, miss with every single beat and character point along the way. There's no way that would have have rolled well, but they trimmed quite a bit, but what they left was a beautiful filet mignon. Uh,
Yeah, that's what when I first started watching the show, um I felt like even though there were obviously things I could recognize from like a D&D game,
mhm.
I also knew like, yeah, they have to be streamlining this because
As you know, travel is tedious in a
yeah,
D&D campaign. Um, getting
supplies. It's
supplies is
like
can take shopping trips can take hours.
yeah, there was no whole episode or two of a shopping trip. So
Oh my god. Well, that just goes to show you what a veer away from its D&D roots Critical Role is. But
but
let's see. What
yeah,
was that?
no. I no, I just yeah, so I very quickly fell in love with the show. I told Steven that because at the time that I was watching season 1, we had just finished doing our stream of oh, why am I blanking?
I
Uh
don't know because I don't remember. My
the
memory's not that great.
the show is great. Why can't I remember
Was it
the
Andor? I don't
no
know.
no.
Andor was great.
Um sorry, like I'm I feel so dumb. Oh, Arcane. Okay. Yeah, Arcane.
Oh, I didn't watch that. Okay.
Um but so we had just finished doing our stream of Arcane, and then I moved into watching season
Mhm.
1 of Vox Machina, and I told
Mhm.
Steven if Arcane felt like this sort of groundbreaking uh new territory
Mhm.
for like for animation storytelling, and had like groundbreaking animation with the mixture of like 3D models and 2D animation over top of it. This felt, by comparison, like the adult version of Saturday morning cartoons that I grew up watching and loving.
Yeah. Yeah, it did have that. Yeah, definitely it has that tone, and the characters are a bit outlandish. Um, it's as though they took their main character flaw or trait and kind of amped it up a bit, beyond how the voice actors originally played
Okay.
the the pen and paper characters. So, but yes, it did have that bit of that Saturday morning cartoon vibe, and I think, well, Scanlan's character, can we just say, is probably the most cartoonish of the lot, especially as far as being outlandish.
I've heard a lot of people say that, and we'll save some of this conversation for
For season 2,
the
but
season 2 discussion, but I
season
actually
1,
I I love Scanlan. I know for a lot of
oh, I
people he's
love
too
him.
much, but for me, like I recognize that he's like putting up a wall, and some of the things he says and the the extremeness of the way he presents himself is kind of an effort to just cover up what's going on inside. So yeah, I like his character.
Well, I think with season 1, like I said, we're seeing one aspect.
Yeah.
Like the characters are almost one dimensional.
Well, and especially in season 1, because so much of the time is devoted to Percy, that the other characters are kind of more in service to his story.
Right. But and I'm not getting into season 2. I'm just as an overarch. I think what we're gonna see is, because this was a thing. Each one of these characters is going to be, we see them flat now, but they're going to be taking much more shape as the seasons progress. We're going to get, I feel like, a lot more flavor and depth. Vax isn't just going to be, broody mood boy, Vexalia, cranky bitch girl, the mean girls.
Okay, this is the one and only thing that I'm going to say about season 2, because I was prepared to go ahead and launch into this today. But if Percy was my favorite of season 1, Vexalia was my favorite of season 2. Just I adored her in season 2, but we can save that discussion for
we're gonna try super hard not to go into any kind of spoilery territory for for season 2 and beyond. But it was you had a lot of world building to do with season 1. We're being introduced to the mind of Matt Mercer and the colorful, flavorful, fully realized world that he's managed to create over the last few. Oh man, it's been going for quite a while, like 7 years. I think since Crit Roll began streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I want to say 2015. It was pre-pandemic, guys. Pre-pandemic.
I'm sorry. What's that?
I don't know. It's one of those funny time
deletion if it's something that I did remember, it's been scrubbed from my memory.
How we started
all exactly. But no. What I did want to say about season 1 is that, and the reason why I started to, I think, get into it more and more once the actual plot of the season started was, and I wouldn't have had this if I hadn't at least played a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons, which is I started to recognize that the season 1 especially played out like a D&D game. With season 2 jumps around to a lot of different places, but season 1 felt very much like a campaign. A campaign. We're in a castle, we're going from like place to place, and facing these obstacles. There's doors.
Oh my god, there's doors. Doors are the bane of every D&D party that I have ever played in.
This isn't a door. This is a thing of evil.
But it is cool that it pays homage to a lot of those quirks that will happen in a live play. That scene, as it was played out by the actors on Critical Role was absolutely comical. He's just being defeated by a freaking door. I'm like, just break a window, man.
It's like like I could not stop thinking about you guys while that was happening. Hi, Rock.
Hello.
Hey.
A rare rock sighting.
But yeah, that scene especially, I just thought of you guys, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. I can't tell you how many times that we've like, oh yeah, go ahead. Our rogue character would have their little lock picks. Oh yeah, this will be fine. And just based on the roll of a die,
I feel compelled to put this up since Stephen always,
yeah, as is tradition.
As is tradition.
Thanks, Weezy. Oh, but yeah, the doors are the bane. You like, and you have to play it out.
Yeah.
You just have to play it out. You know that the roll of the dice gods were against me, so we've got to play this out.
And I want to say, like, first of all, I adore like all the main voice cast for the central characters, even more so because I'm not familiar with any of those actors, so it was fun just discovering those characters as as unique voices. But then also there's a great like supporting roster of voice actors, and I mean, and people who are not traditionally voice actors, you could kind of pick them out. I spotted Indira Varma, Kari Payton from The Walking Dead, and also Dominic Monaghan as as a dwarf, I believe, and then we get Billy Boyd come season 2. So.
Yeah. This is what kind of like opened my eyesight to how great voice actors are and how little recognition they that they get. Me being one of those people guilty of David Tennant, yep, guilty of that myself. So, I'm like, oh, these guys are great. And then like I started like looking up what else they've been in. And I'm like, oh, Ashley Johnson, I've seen her. I've watched her in other things,
Yes, I did know her. She was probably the one that I was aware of.
Right. And her acting career actually was sort of taking off at the time when campaign 1 was kind of getting going good. If for people who don't know, which I don't know, whatever, but she was in Blind Spot. She had a pretty large role in the TV show Blind Spot at the time. So they didn't cut her character. They played they did gymnastics in a way sometimes just so that she and her character could remain part of the group, and she played quite a vital role. This is of course because she's playing Pike Trickfoot, who is the sweetest little dumpling, but she's the healer in the party. She's the one who keeps everybody, all the other guys, up and running.
Which I think, though, what's great about that, obviously, it was sort of because of circumstances of her not being able to be there for the game that it just sort of worked out this way. But what it does, it's great because for season 1, because it places all the other characters in that much more jeopardy because their healer isn't there.
Right, their healers isn't there. Not just that, but she's kind of like the moral compass of the group. She's sort of bridges all of the others. Like she's Grog's little buddy. She's Scanlan's object of being creepy. Vax is like her, treats her like a little, like a little sister, you know, and Vex, she's like, and you know, there everybody is kind of tied to Pike, and so with her absence was very keenly felt. And these, you know, these guys are, you know, they're also friends outside, you know, they're gaming together, they're friends, the actors are friends, they're playing in this together. So it kind of was part of the not just the, because the show had become like popular, but and they wanted to keep the same ensemble, but I think they if they hadn't been such a close-knit group, okay, in real life, if your friend is unable to continue playing D&D every Thursday night, okay, well, we'll just have to regroup and do something else. They decided not to do that. So hats off to them.
Yeah. I did want to say, Cassie, if you're not all the way caught up with season 2, that's all right. Don't drop out because of that, because since Steven's not here, we're postponing our season 2 talk. So we're just reminiscing a bit about season 1 right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's, and again, like I was saying, the with season 1, we don't get as much of the characterizations of the larger group, but I've just come to love them all so much. Like, they're just such wonderful characters. But season 1 was definitely the Percy show, and
it is the Percy show. And as far as a place to start, that really was a really great place to start, because like I said, it's open and closed. It's a short arc. They're able to cap it off, you know, in a pretty tight format. And you know, then of course the big reveal at the end, in the final episode, which is the setup for, you know, what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was a great way to go, because I think I was very happy, because what I felt with the first 2 episodes of season 1 was that, and I don't want this to sound like a complaint or a mark against the show, but it did feel a little bit surface level for me. Like, you know, you could see the characters' personalities, but we weren't digging deep into the characters, because it was just kind of setting up the world. So what I liked about the fact that they were tackling Percy's story for that season was that it gave a lot of time to dig deep into one character's story, and to really flesh that out, and then throughout that begin to flesh out the other characters in terms of their dynamic with Percy and how they interacted with him. And then in the next season, they all get a chance to get their own bits. But yeah, so I loved what they did, and I liked that the season 1 villains were just such wonderful characters onto themselves, before we get to the dragons, who were just more of like plot devices than anything else. And the Briarwoods were so much fun. You know, who doesn't love evil, you know, sexy vampires?
I wish I could. Yeah, there was a meme going around that had which included the Briarwoods as part of it. You know, the perfection meme. You know, they did like the cartoon, not the animated version of the Briars, and they did the I can't remember, but then the last one was when they did a picture of Travis and Laura on their Halloween episode, and they both came dressed up as the Briarwoods, and that was like so good. But yeah, if you're gonna make up some evil villains, you know, an immortal couple in love who's just trying to save the other, you know, It's a love story, John. I've told you this. It's a tragic love story gone horribly wrong. What wouldn't you do for the love of your life? Wouldn't you sell your soul if necessary?
Oh yeah. No, and that kind of stuff is great because throughout the whole season, I'm really feeling for Percy, but just because of all the, horrible things that were done to him because of these two characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get towards the end and you're like, oh, but I kind of feel for them now.
Right. I mean, that's great acting.
Yeah.
That's great acting. And from, you do get just like a whiff of, you think they were probably just a couple of normal, they were probably never normal, but they were just a couple one time without all this evil baggage wrapped around them and, chains of.
Now the traitorous assholes in Percy's household.
Oh yeah,
they're another matter because it's like, screw you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And it was I don't want to say Percy's character is a kind of like the actor's sort of commentary in a way about oh, I've introduced guns into this world. Oh, this is great. What have I set loose upon the world? And it's like Oppenheimer and his thoughts about what have I done, releasing something horrible.
I know I feel very conflicted about the fact that I love Percy's whole aesthetic so much, including the guns, considering the fact that guns are not cool, but we're watching fun anime.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun and fun animation, not a commentary on society's use and reliance on guns. But hey,
but it's just so like I love everything about what that character's got going on, and it's a unique thing in a fantasy setting like this.
It is. It's not something that's normally allowed. Towson had they had all been playing their characters in a different gaming system. And when they decided to do the live streams, they converted the characters over to the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition rules. So basically, Percy's character had to be completely homebrewed to exist. So that's how he and Matt worked very diligently over the course of the entire campaign. It was constantly being tweaked and modified as as the character advanced and as the game continued onward. So that was something that was I don't want to say it's unique, but it is something that was totally out of place for what would technically be a fantasy series. And that's just a good pickup, John, for a guy who doesn't play, for whom D&D is not for him.
Yeah, but it's like I said, I'm grateful that I got some exposure to it because I think I would have enjoyed the show, but I don't think I would have gotten that added level of appreciation. And so I'm really happy about that. I'm trying to remember some other stuff about season 1 because, like I said, it's been a number of weeks since I watched it. Yeah.
But when these guys are starting out, they're basically just like a sad sack, just low level, not real, great adventuring party. They're mercenaries. They're kind of down on their luck. They haven't had a lot of, good fortune. But somehow this sack of losers, um, is going to get, shaped into quite the world saving party. They're going to go on to become like, just, uh, like immensely powerful people. So I think it was really good to see them at their, at the basic, um, at the basic level.
I love that Uriel's like, I want to give him a shot. I like their bear.
Yeah, the bear, like the bear. Oh yeah. Trinket is rather adorable, and not every who am I kidding? Every adventuring party I've ever been in, somehow we manage to snag a couple of animals along the way. But Trinket is Trinket's pretty unique the way that they play it. In the campaign, occasionally Trinket would speak, and through magical means or what have you, and Matt would do the voice, and he's so great. His voice range is so great. It's like by the time whenever it happened, I just felt like I really was listening to a freaking bear talk about
and again, just one little detour over into season 2. I just love the fact that we get Cheech Marin as Trinket during a drug trip.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess Matt can't do all the voices of all of the people, of all of the characters that he did for the on the TV show. So they've done pretty well, pulling actors to, even if they're just like Cheech Marin had just a couple of things, just a couple of lines. But it was so fun.
It's like
Easter eggs.
Spend 2 minutes in the booth and be like, "Where's my check?"
I don't know if it's like that, but
no, I know. But yeah, and it is funny because, speaking of which, just to see certain voice actors sort of pop in for minor roles in the beginning, in the first episode, there was a character of the bar owner who's played by Mason Alexander Park, and it's it's 2 lines and then the character's gone.
Yeah, I was going through all the voice actors that were on here, and some they don't give like what role they played, and I'm like, they were on there? Where were
I know.
they?
I saw their name and I was so excited, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like bartender.
Yeah, what? It's like, oh, come on.
Oh my God. But what a walk-on role just for hey.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know you really love that actor.
Oh yeah.
The actors in the Neil Gaiman's in Sandman.
Sandman, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
but well, there's. We'll see. Maybe the bartender actually, will become a surprise. Maybe that character will be a surprise, recurring focal point for the show.
What would be really funny is because so you play D&D with me. How many times did we ever just roll into a tavern or a bar? like
Oh
quite
yeah.
often, right? It's like at
Yeah.
least once or twice a game. What if every barkeep they have for this entire show is voiced by that actor, no matter who they are, no matter where they are. But if it's the same voice actor that just plays the barkeeper, that would be hilarious.
I support that.
I completely support that. That
Especially because they've got quite the vocal range,
they
because that
do,
barkeep sounds nothing at all like Desire from Sandman.
right?
So
What they could play. They could play every barkeeper on Tal'Dorei, as far as I'm concerned.
there we go.
Yep. And let's see, we got Indira Varma. Who did she voice?
She's the
Tal'Dorei, the queen.
No, she's not the queen. She's the one who has powers.
Allura Vasoran.
Yeah.
Was it Allura? Yes, Allura Vasoran.
Yeah, I recognized her voice right away. Because
Of course, yeah, because you love her character, you love her work, you love her in everything she's been in.
Well, of course, and we've had streams on my channel about Rome, so like my adoration of her goes back all the way back to 2005. So,
yeah, great actress. So I mean, they've done well. They've done well with getting such a big names, even for tiny little parts, even for walk-ons. I don't know if it has to do with just how wildly popular the game is, and all of these actors are just closet D&D players who just want to show a little love to the game by like, hey, this is great, let me do a little piece, let me do a little bit, yeah. I know they've, throughout the course of their campaigns, they've had guest players to come on and like just jump into a campaign at like one of their little side quests that they would do. They're like, okay, this isn't part of the big scheme, but but hey, we've got to go do this little thing. So I don't want to spoil it, but there's some, oh god, so many people, but they also will well known to play D&D in their off time as well. So I'm hoping to see or hear them reprise their acting roles as voice actors. I mean, not to take work away from qualified, well qualified voice actors, but it would be nice.
Yeah.
Will Wheaton, I'm listening. I'm waiting for you. Well, John, so what do you look forward to, having absolutely no clue where any of this is going to be going? Me, I'm fully spoiled for what is possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd actually like not getting into the overarching plot of season 2, because again, we want to save that. But my guess is that most of the show is going to be concerned with that overarching story. But I would very much also like to see some like digressions into like just something having to do very personally with one of the characters, and like spending a lot of time on that, because we got a lot of different like the episodes focused on the different characters in season 2, but I want something like season 1 for another one of the characters. I don't know if we'll get that or not, but
you will probably get it. I don't want to pick apart season 2 too much, but there was a taste of things to come with how they presented it to us. But yes, it's going to focus on quite a bit on each individual's character growth. There's going to be times when I don't know if they're going to focus specifically on one character for, a season.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a growth arc for an overall growth arc for each of them as threads of each one of their personal journeys are tied in along the way. If that makes the without being spoilery, I hope that made sense.
Yeah. I think I'll be very satisfied.
Oh,
I've been very surprised, like just how much I love this show. And of course, Steven is like beating his hands against his head when I say that, because he had been trying to get me to watch both this and Arcane for quite some time, and then lo and behold, when I finally do watch them, I'm raving about both.
As is tradition. John, we know
there have been no other shows where that's happened, like especially no vampire shows.
No vampire shows, no, nothing like that. Wonderful show, it's great. But I know if you're like me, I have a certain amount of time in the day that I can devote to entertainment, shall we say.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to, sometimes you want something new and fresh and you're ready for it. And other times you really just want to put on, watch an old friend because it's easy. You're like, oh yeah, I remember these people. Oh, I remember this episode. Oh, that was so good. For you, it's like if you could wear out physical media, I'm sure you've worn out as many copies of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh my God. Just when I was young, I totally had like certain movies that had that, that line at the bottom of the screen on a VHS tape that you've watched too many times. I remember there were a number of, which is so funny. One of them that got like that, and this is such a me thing, is, you probably wouldn't guess this as the one that was most watched, but when I was a little kid living in Maryland, I was nuts over this movie, which was Masters of the Universe. I watched that so many times that I wore that tape. And what was hilarious was that actually the copy of that movie that I ended up owning originally belonged to the nearby video store, and you'd say, well, that's why it was worn, because it was out for rental. No, because I was the only one who ever rented it.
Yes, and eventually the late fees were just more than it was worth. So you're like, okay, here, you can have it for $20.
Yeah, eventually my dad just bought it from the bookstore or from the video store, and I can't remember if he must have paid something for it, but I think it was something to the effect of, we should probably just give this to you.
We've already had to order another copy because this kid's not ever going to turn it back in. So yeah. I can see it.
But in a lot of ways, that makes perfect sense for me, because it is like a full-on fantasy movie with, lots of, magic and swordplay and all that stuff. It was right up my alley.
So how does He-Man compare to the Legend of Vox Machina? You had compared it to a Saturday morning cartoon for adults. with the and I'm like, okay, let's see, let's pay some Saturday morning cartoon love to this thing. You had your, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe,
Well, if
Castle
I'm
Grayskull,
if I'm
which
looking at
I'm just
okay,
gonna say this real quick. Spoiler, Easter egg. The name of the keep, Vox Machina names their keep Castle Grayskull Keep in honor of Castle Grayskull. Just
okay.
saying. Go.
Well, I have two responses. One is if I'm talking objectively, obviously, like the modern storytelling that you'll find in something like Vox Machina is very much beyond what they were doing back in the 80s of here's an episode with a
Mhm.
plot line, next episode
Yep.
has another plot line. It's
Mhm.
not connected other than, we know these
Same
characters.
characters. Mhm.
So I
You
think
can
in
get a
that way,
two-parter. You might get a two-parter.
oh, a two-parter, that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Um, even like I did have an old videotape of the cartoon, and it was like a sort of pilot
Mhm.
episode type thing, and it was, I think they combined together 3 episodes of the show, but those
Mhm.
3 episodes still had different plot lines, so it was like
Like,
an
what is
hour and a half
this?
thing that had 3 different plots
Different
over the course.
stories.
Yeah. So in that way, I think like Vox Machina is, clearly ahead. But then there's just the nostalgia factor of I grew up with He-Man, and
Mhm.
like I remember when I told you guys I went to that toy show a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and there was this one section of the show where like it was a whole corner just devoted to Masters of the Universe, and they just had a
Mhm.
bunch of old toys like thrown into a bin, and I was like, and keep in mind I still have all these up in the attic. They
Uh-huh.
haven't gone anywhere, so I was like, I've got that one, I've got that one, I've
That
got
one.
that
I've
one.
got that one. I've got that one. Oh, here's a battle cat. It's in better shape than mine. Let me grab this one. Because Battle Cat was the best.
Yeah,
I, I
and still, like every time I go down a YouTube rabbit hole,
mhm,
without fail, I'll look up the He-Man intro and just
mhm.
watch it because I still get a thrill out of that.
By the power of Grayskull.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 1980. It was like 88, 87. I don't know when did the Masters of the Universe come out, John?
I'd have to look up Kartik. That's not fair.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's horrible. I would do horrific things to that person if I knew
Well, if
who
you ever
took
found
that from me.
out.
Yeah. Um, let me look up the exact year of. Let's see. 1983.
83. Okay, I was a teenager when this was coming on, so yeah, I would watch it. I'd fully admit I would watch cartoons. And probably into early adulthood as well. But yeah, I just like I like I really like the fact that it's okay for adults to enjoy cartoons now. They got over the stigma of that's just for kids. That's just for kids. And I'm like, no, they're really good. It's kind of like I feel like I've grown with the cartoons that cartoons and myself are kind of
Well,
on the
and
same.
that's why
As
I
I've grown, there's been like new ways of looking at it. As just when I started, I watched them as a kid. Great. Young adult, teenager, fine, okay. My taste had evolved a bit. I was wanting to watch, more um sciency and fantasy type cartoons as opposed to, you know, Captain Caveman or what have you. And then as an adult, I was like, okay, well, now cartoons have evolved so that I can watch them. I can watch what my daughter is watching, but it's also a little bit the cartoons or things, animation started catering to the adults in the background who were probably either had taking their kid to watch whatever animated feature film was out, or you're watching your Saturday morning cartoons with the kids, you know, but like there's a joke that is inserted, and that that's not a joke that's inserted for the kids, it's inserted for the adults. So I kind of like, hey, yeah, you know you see me, I appreciate that, and
Yeah.
then the older and older that I've gotten, it's like, oh, there's always something new and it seems like it's just for me.
Well, and even the existence of something like this, which is very clearly, on the one hand, it is very much for the D&D crowd, but also
Hmm.
I feel like it's for me too, because
It's for you too, John.
it's like I said, it's like the adult version of the Saturday morning cartoons I grew up loving. So it's
Hmm.
an evolution of that form, so that I'm not watching this as a 38-year-old feeling that I'm sort of indulging in this, just something that is maybe a bit childish and
Hmm.
would have been appropriate for me back then, which, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying that, but it's the fact that this is the adult version of that, so it's still directed towards me as I
Yeah,
am today,
yeah,
and
but in the manner that you received it as a child.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm like, I feel like I need to be watching this, eating a bowl of my favorite, cereal, like, eating some Fruity Pebbles and having a Pop-Tart and a glass of milk, I'm just like, it feels like that. It feels like it's okay. Yes, Louise, there is nostalgia to it, but I mean, it is something that's completely fresh. It's hitting those dopamine centers in your brain
Mhm.
that you remember from childhood or what have you, but it's not a remake of whatever it was that we were watching.
Yeah.
You know, Thank you for not making yet another remake of something that was so dear, so, so near and dear to me as a child, and making it, oh, this is not great. Um, Making something fresh and new and inviting. And you don't have to have played D&D to watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you know, even if you're not that into animation, this is a great story. They're telling a really great story, and I think it's engaging to people of, of no matter how you're entering into it. It's not for kids.
Yeah, and that's why also,
Don't
like,
like
I know you only have so much time, but I do absolutely recommend Arcane, which is hilarious because now I'm the one, instead of Steven trying to get me on board, now I'm becoming
Okay.
an acolyte.
Okay. So don't tell Steven. Okay. This is just between,
he'll
us.
he'll never see
You
this.
never know. Um, like I did watch the first episode and it didn't hook me.
That Trust me
I
when
was
I say go beyond the first episode, because it didn't necessarily hook me either. One, if you finish episode 3 and it's still not for you, then
okay.
fine. But I'm telling you, I think episode 3 will floor you, because
Okay.
episode 1 did not. I kind of felt like, because I tried to start on the first episode a while back. Same thing with this show too. And I was kind of like,
this is for me.
I was like, oh, I kind of know what this is. I'm not sure if it's for me. Let me tell you, I didn't know what it was at all.
Okay.
So
the 3-episode rule applies.
Yeah, and especially because there's like the season it's 9 episodes and they're like 3-episode arcs. So it's like
boom, boom, boom.
Each one is like a little movie.
Okay.
Same plot line, but you'll be able to see how it's split up. So
the
that's
animation was a little jarring for me. Like, I'm not used to seeing animation like that.
Yeah, I mean, because they're using like 3D models and stuff, but there's so much 2D animation. Then on top of it, and you see like all the explosions are 2D and hand drawn, and it's actually like once you really examine it, like the animation is so intricate and really quite stunning. But yeah, I'd say give it another chance and at least just watch the first 3 episodes. And then if you get to the end of that and you still don't feel hooked, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just been a matter of finding the time to sit down and do it and give it the justice that I need to. But it'll happen. But you know what? It's 7:00. We've been chit-chatting for an hour. So you know what time it is? It's time for the mid-roll.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay, John. Hey, pull out the Patreon list. Pull out the Patreon roll and
Oh, I have to,
because I don't have it. I know the top,
Okay, here we go. So yeah, I don't remember which if he goes straight down or if he does this.
John. Just do it.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go from top to bottom. Okay, so here's our list of patrons that we thank from the bottom of my hearts. We love you guys. First we have the dragons, Sir Julie Beth.
Oh, the dragons. Okay, go ahead.
Wait, do we do Great Wyrms first? Sorry, this is what I'm
dragons now.
This shows that I don't pay attention. I completely zone out during this part of the stream.
Hey, we're doing it from we're gonna like name them all. Dragon.
All right, the dragons. Go. Sir Julie Beth of Tarth, Sir Kelly, the Jaded Redhead.
Yeah.
Sir Blue Lemon, Sir Emily of the Eyrie, Sir William, the Tindalos Traveler, Guilty Undertaker, Paul H., Allison Kreutzberg. I hope I said that right. Elder Dragons, the Cloaked One of the Underworld, Ryan Stavka, the Russian Quartermaster, Reflective Rambling, Arch-Maester Emma, Kate, Mistress of the House of Books, Jared Kozal, Doctor of Dragons, and twin to me, Lady Maura Lee of Starfall, Lady Rita, the Unbound, and now we come to the Great Wyrms, Ridiculous Ed Tollett, and Lord John Bronsteen the Wise. Yeah. Okay, I got everybody. Might not have been in the right order, but damn it, we're
sometimes it's good to mix it up a little bit, John. And we got all the patrons in this episode. It's great. Like, guys, we love you. Not only are you our patrons, but you're our friends. You're our family. And we really couldn't do any of this without you and the support that you give. So I hope you know that from the bottom of all of our 3 enormous dragon hearts that we appreciate everything that you do. So thank you.
We do. Thank you. So
what's coming up next week, John?
So what's coming up? Do you have anything coming up, Nessie?
I am continuing my journey as a dungeon master and not the sexy fun kind. I So I might need to get an OnlyFans. I could use the money. Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first, guys. Yeah. I'm still continuing those adventures. Tuesday has rolled out and I think it was a great success. Everyone that played seemed to have had a good time. I've gotten some feedback. And we're gonna play again next month. And so far I haven't driven anyone insane, which bummer, but better luck next time. All right. How about you, John? Anything new? You were recently somewhere doing something.
Was it?
Yes. Costume Co.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
This is how we roll around here. We are completely unprepared for life.
This just goes to show like how stressful and chaotic things have been for me lately, that I didn't even remember that I'd done this. And it is not because I didn't have an absolutely fabulous time. But yeah, so I was over on Costume Co's channel talking Andor, which I can talk about anytime, all the time, because it's such a great show.
Good. As they like to call it, the show of black and white.
Yeah, it's like, because here's the thing, like I subscribe to the idea that Star Wars, especially like Star Wars television right now, is a buffet. There are many different flavors and I love them all. That said, there is something about Andor that feels like a leveling up, in terms of what is possible for like Star Wars storytelling. And so I just loved getting to go on her channel and gush about the show. And she had just seen the show. She was a bit behind on all the hype and stuff. And so she enjoyed the show immensely. And thank you, Cassie. I was just going to ask if somebody had the link.
I would have posted that.
And yeah, so it was just a blast to talk about. And
well, Andor has a lot in common with the Legend of Vox Machina. Believe it or not, because here's an offering of something that you love, that you don't have to have that nostalgia button. You can have the nostalgia button being pushed to get that dopamine feel, but it's something new that we haven't seen, on small screen. So it is to Star Wars what Legend of Vox Machina is to Saturday morning cartoons.
I wanted to pause right here because Clarissa just asked for clarification on the Slack group. Yes, please email we3dragons@gmail.com and we will get you into the Slack group where we talk about every conceivable topic imaginable. We do and we get on Zoom. We have a constant Zoom for the group, and we also do watch parties. We just recently did actually 2 watch parties of Labyrinth. The second one was because I missed the first one and I promised Trish that I would watch it, and I had a fabulous time doing that as well.
Oh, I hate I missed that, but I'm glad you finally got to watch it, John.
Yeah, no, it was definitely worth the wait. And I told Trish, I was like, I can't possibly see this for the first time without sharing the experience.
Oh yes, and Cassie reminded us, pet photos. Yes, we have a channel devoted exclusively to your tiny dragons at home, be they 2-legged or 4-legged or 3-legged or whatever the case may be. Yes.
And of course, the most important part, naturally, is the Thirst channel. Can't fail to mention that.
Oh, John of the Sir John of the Unquenching Thirst. Yeah, big gulp.
Although I've been a bit restrained in our group ever since the Twitteros Discord started up. I don't want you guys to go over there and see what's going on. I would be ashamed.
I'm not going to shame you, John. I'm not going to shame you.
I wouldn't be ashamed. Mildly embarrassed. We'll put it that way.
It's fine, John. I'll never say a word. Oh yeah.
But
for that channel is dark and full of thirst. Or do. I don't care. You're adults.
So
oh my God.
Yes, there are definitely plenty of adults over there on that Discord. That's all I'll say.
Yes, I think there yes, it is indeed a channel of adults.
Yes.
I think.
Okay, so moving on.
Moving on.
So
Come
also,
yeah,
we have news about what's coming up on this channel. Next week, Stephen and I will be doing a retro review of a 2003 classic known as Underworld. How we arrived at that decision, I do not know, but we're both psyched to talk about it because that
excellent.
It's really. That is, people always ask me, do I have any guilty pleasures? And normally my answer is no, because I'm like, I unabashedly love what I love.
He's not guilty about a damn thing.
But no, I think, I can probably classify Underworld as a guilty pleasure. Like it's, it's, I don't think anybody would necessarily call it great cinema, but damn it, it's a really fun movie. And I like it. So.
They can sail in a leather cat suit.
That has nothing to do with it.
That's why I watch it. I figured that. Funny thing, John. I mean, I have a notepad with a list of movies for retro review. I was like, and that was one on the list. I'm like, okay, I will check one out.
But so we'll go ahead and do that. Where this year it's celebrating its 20th anniversary, and that is not at all terrifying.
Not at all.
No. And then I guess the week after that now we'll be talking about The Legend of Arch-Maester season 2. But also, and we have something else on the horizon that we just started talking about today. We are strongly considering, which means we're probably going to go ahead and do it, going through the 2003/2004 reimagined Battlestar Galactica.
That's 20 years also as old as well, John.
Yeah.
2003. Oh my God.
Now, of course, because there is no way we can do we can binge like 22 episode seasons in a single week when we're covering that show. We will be dividing up certain seasons. Season 1 is only 13 episodes, so I think that is feasible. But seasons 2 through 4 will be splitting up.
And didn't you say there was like a prequel something or
there's a mini series that started off the show. Because I don't think they had a green light for the full series. So what they did first was a 2-part miniseries, and then the season proper, and then in between seasons 3 and 4, there's a TV movie too. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll probably roll the premiere 2-part miniseries in with our coverage of the first season. First part of the first season?
I'll leave that up to you guys. Because alternatively, if we did the mini series on its own too, that might be a good way to ease into it. But if you guys just want to fold it in,
I have not watched this series. I don't know if Steven watched this series.
He has, but it's been a while.
So, and I know you've talked about this series, so I know that you love it. Of course, you'd love it. So I will be the New Horizons virgin viewer for this one, though I do come in with baggage.
Oh yes, because you're a fan
I
of
am
the
that
original.
old. I am that. How old am I, do you ask? I am Battlestar Galactica Gen 1 Mormons in Space version from the, oh gosh, from the early 80s, late 70s. I don't know. It was childhood, but I tuned in every Sunday evening to watch it. So,
Okay, just there's no simple way to put this, or there's no
easy way to
easy
rip the
way.
Band-Aid off. It ain't
Like,
that.
yeah, this is not. Do
It
not
ain't that.
expect anything like that. There's some carryover of like character names,
Names, and that's it.
and Cylons are a thing in there,
Cylons are a thing.
but I wouldn't go looking for too many similarities beyond that. So
yeah, hey, Lauren Green or I Riot. Okay, that's it. Okay, maybe not. No, I haven't watched it, but I'm quite aware of the series, and I know that it is not the same, and I'm fine with that. Retelling, like, here, let's just pick this. This is a great story idea. Let's go with it. So yeah, I'm fine with that.
Clarissa, we're not going to talk about it like in terms of like, we're definitely not going to do that before, because Caprica Nessie, so you know, was a prequel series to Battlestar Galactica, but it's a completely different animal. And to be honest, it's not in my opinion, it's not a super great season of television. I think they had a lot of trouble finding their feet with that show, and it only had one season, but like it was really cooking by the end of the season. So it's kind of a shame they didn't get to go on. But
it was an almost reboot, right?
No, that was just a straight up prequel to the 2004 series. So like possibly we might talk about it maybe after we finish up Battlestar, if you guys are interested in that. But I wouldn't prioritize it necessarily.
Cool.
But
I'm following your lead, John.
Okay, cool.
Hey, maybe if we do this one, maybe one day we'll get out and, I don't know, do Babylon 5. I heard it's great.
That's one that I've never seen.
Me either. But I hear it's great.
But I also want to do Deep Space Nine, which, you know, but that might, like, that's a 9-season show, I think, 8 or 9 seasons. So
yeah,
so that would be a challenge. Full 22 episode seasons. So
yeah, like 4 to 5 seasons of a really great TV show. If it was great from start to finish, that would be, I'd be down for that. I might even watch the Dune miniseries. I don't care. Or the TV show. I don't care. It was a miniseries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to our Battlestar talk, just because, like, for me, that's, you know, I know for a lot of people, The Expanse ranks as their number one sci-fi show, and for me, Battlestar is that for me. Although it veers a little more into, it's definitely a sci-fi show, but it also delves into some fantasy elements, and it's and they also bring in a lot of religion into the show, in terms of like, different factions and their beliefs. And
well, that was true of the first go around as well, so I am not surprised.
So yeah. Okay, DS9 was
Yeah,
7 seasons, so I was still off by one, but yeah,
still a prime number.
Yeah, that was. Side note: the experience of watching DS9 was so great for me because I watched that about 10 years ago when I was going through a particularly rough patch, and and I needed something that was completely new and fresh to just sort of, focus all my energy on, and that just ended up being the perfect show for that. So
I had a similar situation, John. That's when I picked up Fringe.
nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One of these days we're gonna do our Fringe talk.
It's gonna happen. If we have to do it on Jawoof, we're gonna do it.
Exactly.
Even though it's not exactly it's not a film per se. But
that's all right.
It's got John Nobles in it. That's all that's all that matters. I got to, he is such a fantastic actor. Anytime I see him on anything, I get so excited.
Well, and especially because the only other thing I had seen him in was Lord of the Rings. And so he was Denethor, and I was like, I don't like him. And then I saw Fringe, and I was like, oh my God, I love this.
I love him.
He must be protected at all costs.
Yes, he's like a shiny little Easter egg. And, routinely now I just we were watching, we binge stuff. So I'm watching Sherlock right now. And he plays Sherlock Holmes' father in the version that where Sherlock is in New York and has Lucy Liu as Dr. Watson. Okay. John Nobles is playing his dad, and I'm like, oh yes, perfect choice. It's like if Walternate was playing Sherlock Holmes' dad. That's kind of how the character is.
Oh. Well, no wonder Sherlock turned out the way he did.
Of course, he's a drug addicted heroin addict. So with familial generational trauma, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what the show's called. Elementary.
Yes, elementary. Yeah. Elementary. Thank you, Karthik. I like all the Sherlock Holmes show. It's fine.
No, Fringe will forever be, and it's funny considering some of the episodes are, you get some disturbing elements with some of them, but it's one of my comfort shows, regardless.
Yes. It is. I love to I'll go back and we'll just pick it up and just start watching it again out of when I say we, I mean, of course, Rock and myself. It's something that we both enjoy. And I think I've mentioned before that I'm not a big fan of alternate timeline things in television. But for some reason it doesn't particularly bother me in this show.
Well, because I think because the focus so much is on the character relationships, and so even all the timey-wimey stuff, it's
timey-wimey interdimensional weird things that happen.
Yeah, it's just a means to tell us more about these characters and their relationships to one another.
And how important they are to one another. That it's such so good. So good.
I mean, I even look at things get so weird with oh God, it's been so long. I'm trying to remember all the characters' names.
Peter.
No, I know Peter. Who's our lovable time traveling bald man? The Observer. Just when you get to that moment where Peter is following the trail left by the Observer to activate that machine so he'll appear or whatever I think it's in season 4, and all that just builds up to so that the Observer can tell Peter that he's actually in the correct timeline and that he's found his Olivia. It's such an emotional resolution to something that seems so complex, but it's just all building up to that emotional moment of a guy who has been jerked around too many times with regards to different versions of the woman he loves, and just wants to make sure that he's got it right this time.
You got it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Anna Torv, my God, what
it's just a crime that we don't get more of her. And I know that she was just recently in what's the new show everybody's watching? The Last of Us. But I know she's not a permanent cast member in that, I believe. So I just want her to have like a lead role in something where
they are I think she is also one of the main characters in I know you hate Netflix. I hate what Netflix does. But the series Mindhunter, she plays one of the behavioralists.
But they canceled that, didn't they?
They're coming back for season 3.
They are. Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna get I think we're getting the 3rd season. It was so freaking good. And if I'm not mistaken, season 3 is going to be concentrating on the BTK plot line. So fingers crossed.
Okay, I think I'm gonna get back into that now because I started watching season 1 and then
you're like, oh, why should I watch anymore?
Yeah, it's like because Netflix cancels everything.
Because Netflix cancels everything, and I think that was Mindhunter was a victim of the pandemic.
Mm.
It was one of the 2020 things. But I had recently heard. I would hate to get your hopes up, John. I want to make sure that I am 100%. So, yeah. Anyway,
the point is Anna Torv needs to be in.
Anna Torv needs to be in more things.
Yeah, she is just absolutely phenomenal.
She kills it. She's a wonderful actress. She's a delight. As Olivia in this series, she's just a delight, and cast Anna Torv in more things.
I remember the first thing that I remember seeing her in was this small bit part in the HBO series The Pacific, which was a companion piece to Band of Brothers, and she was playing like an old Hollywood starlet or something.
Wow.
And I just remember like she had the fabulous hair and everything and great clothes, and I was like, oh my god, this woman is stunning. Who is this?
Who is this?
Yeah. So yeah, and she's just she's great in Fringe, and like so many of the actors in that show have had such a difficult job of playing multiple versions of herself.
Their characters, yeah.
So great. Oh man, I love that show.
I like both versions of her. It's fine. I loved her. Well, what would you call alternate Olivia?
Oh, they called her
other Livia?
Fox Livia, or like
Olivia. That's it. Walter called her that. Oh, he said.
But still, my favorite line of his was
the vagenda
about Peter. He fell right into her vagenda.
Right into her vagenda. Classic line. Classic. 100% classic. Now I want to watch the show again, John. Damn you.
Yeah, anybody who hasn't watched Fringe, watch Fringe. It's so unfortunate because I think it was very easy to write it off of when the show first premiered as sort of like, I think a lot of people saw it as like an X-Files sort of rip-off type of thing. Yeah. But it was so much more than that. Like, granted, the first season or so
was kind of monster of the week.
Yeah.
I'd say monster, but mystery of the week.
Yeah.
But at once it got rolling, where you see, okay, it's just, and yes, like X-Files, the monsters of the week first happen, but then you also get the overarching, hey, aliens are among us. With this, you kind of, it's the traveler, it's the observer, that you start to, that's where you pick up the observer through the quote monster of the week stories. And you start hearing the name William Bell being repeated over and over and over again.
I just want to pause right there. Hi, Cool Gamer.
Hi, Cool Gamer.
For anybody coming in wondering why we're not talking about The Legend of Vox Machina Season 2, it's because Steven is out sick. So we did talk a little bit about Season 1 of the show, and now we're just kind of going from topic to topic. But we will talk about Season 2 in 2 weeks. So just want to make sure that you guys, anybody coming in now, isn't like, what's going on?
What's going on? Like, what? Liars. They're a bunch of liars.
No, that's perfect that you just mentioned William Bell, because that's another reason to watch this show. Any of you want to see pretty much the final non-Spock performance of Leonard Nimoy. And he is
good.
He's so good. And again, playing multiple versions of himself. And some versions of that are not so nice, and some of them are really nice. And
it's great. It was like the character was an amalgamation of a lot of other of all of the versions of William Bell. That's how I look at it. It's and you loved him, you hated him, you were intrigued by him, no matter which version you were getting. So to be one of the final performances of such a beloved actor, to get a role like this, even though it's a small thing, it seems like a small thing. This was just a tiny show, when it started.
And like, he's in a very small amount of episodes, but he looms large over the whole story.
Over the whole story, yes, yes, yeah. Watch it.
But I will say, like, when we get his first appearance at the end of Season 1, it was like, oh my God, it's him. It's like that. It's like that's the guy they're talking about. It was Leonard Nimoy the whole time.
The whole time, it was Leonard Nimoy the whole time. Oh my God, it was a huge reveal, huge reveal, and I've spoiled it for all of you.
That's all right.
Hey, you should have watched it by now.
Yeah, it's been this many years. Like, I'm not going to hold back on the Nimoy reveal.
No. God, it was so good. And it wasn't even like fan service. It was like the best fan service, because it's a beloved actor.
Well, yeah, and it's
not the Scooby-Doo mask. It was me all along.
Well, it's cashing in on the fact that this is someone who is revered in, like, science fiction fan bases and stuff. So to use that actor in this role, it just felt like just his appearance alone
gave it prominence.
If it was anybody, if it was just a character actor that maybe nobody really knew that well, then it wouldn't have had that big of an impact. But it was big enough of a reveal to end the season on, and
launch the series into space. It's like, like, oh man, I gotta watch it now. Like, if you weren't hooked at that point, you were being dragged along by a tractor beam at that point.
Yeah. God. But okay,
Jonathan, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do Fringe. maybe this summer.
Yeah, well, as soon as I can get my channel up and running again, like we can definitely do it over there. Especially, I don't think Steven will have the time to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to watch the whole season. But because I
Oh,
have been
no.
wanting to start up my channel again, but it's been one thing after another.
It
Like so
has.
many.
It's been a rough year for a lot. It's been a rough year for you, and you know,
But I'll
but
get
you'll get there, and I want you to have something to look forward to. This might be the
there.
day. Nessie and John redo Electric Boogaloo. Let's
Yeah.
watch. Let's go. Um, but yeah, as to Stephen, his time is very limited. What we should have said during the mid roll was that he is now a professional game master. So
Yes.
I wish I had the link for that. The link for so if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons or another role playing game, tabletop role playing game, Steven's the guy to see. Just DM him on the Twitter. Hit him up on the Slack. Join the Slack. He's hit him up on like anywhere on the hit him up on the Twitteros if you're there. Leave it in the comments in the YouTube channel. He'll find it. Uh, yeah, if you want to play a game, Steven's the guy to talk to. He's great. He's GM for me now for the last 2 years, at least, and we're still going strong. We've got an airship. It's great. Don't you wish you'd hung around for the airship, John?
For the sake of my own mental health, probably not, but because I need
It was
it.
a lot. We deserve that damn airship, John. We deserve it. But yeah,
Oh,
get in contact. He's there to
yeah, hire Steven.
hire Steven to be your dungeon master.
Yeah. Oh, I love you guys too. Um. All right, so we had quite a bit of fringe talk.
Mm-hmm.
We in our first half we talked
Mm-hmm.
Vox Machina season 1. Um, so how do we want to take this home, Nessie? Okay.
Well,
Uh,
I highly recommend it. Uh, Stay tuned in 2 weeks. We're going to dig in a little deeper because we tried very hard today not to get into spoiler territory. And in 2 weeks, we'll be able to. We'll just throw those gloves away and just dig right in. Um, let's see. Hire Steven as your dungeon master. Um, watch Fringe. Um,
oh, and I didn't mean we had to wrap up right now. I'm just saying we've got a half an hour left. Like,
so how are we going to take this home?
so what do you want to
I think
move on
we are
to
going
now?
to. I think we are going to talk about what's happening in just a little over, you know, 60 days. We are going to
Oh, I'm
be
sorry.
together.
Is something happening? I
Yeah,
I am completely unaware of anything that's happening.
you're completely unaware of it. I beg to differ. Um, we're going to find the three dragons are going to be together again in one place at one time. Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie.
You are the best. Kathy is the best link dropper. Just saying. Um, yeah, a bunch of us, the fandom, are getting together for our annual. It's like a family reunion, John. Isn't that the kind of feel that you get? I kind of feel like it's a huge family, but
It's
it's a
wait, hold on to
family.
that thought just for 1 second. Cassie, I do understand and our real apologies and to Matthew, but I just have to say that there's a lot of Vax talk to be had. but so much of it is concerned with season 2 that I do feel like we
will
have
be
to hold
doing
on.
it disjustice.
Yeah. Because again, it does kind of feel like in season 1 that everybody is kind of a supporting player to Percy's story. So we're gonna get there. It's just not happening today.
Yeah, like
but
if season 1 is all about Percy, you feel like season 2 is about Vex.
I think it's about.
You think it's more Vex.
I think that the characters who kind of share quote unquote ownership of season 2 are
the twins.
Yeah, we can group them together. I was gonna say like Vax just because of like what he's going through with the Matron of Ravens and all that because he does kind of seem to have the through line throughout the season. And then don't get me wrong, Vexalia is my favorite for season 2 just because I think she's fantastic throughout the season. But the other 2 focal points I would say are Grog and Stan.
Yes. Quite a few characters get their moment, and they're going to get much more. We get if season 1 was a concentrated introduction to and to the place and Percy's story, which I'm going to say he gets more later. He's got another arc later on in if we go that far out. But season 2 is much more like, oh, everybody's gonna get a little bit of
exactly.
We get to learn a little bit more about the other players for season 2. So
and that's why like Vexalia doesn't get like the most like focal attention. I feel like Grog Stanlin and Vax himself gets a bit more, but when the focus is on her, I just think it's so fantastic in season 2. So and then you've also got what's her name? Keyleth. Yeah, like especially when the episode that's all on her happens, like absolutely fantastic. So, and we're gonna get into all that, but we just got to save it for 2 weeks. But yeah, so much great stuff to talk about. So now we'll jump back into Ice and Fire Con.
Right? Yes, I'm packing the ketchup for sure. As much as the airplane will allow me to carry. Oh, do I have to put it in those little tiny personal bottles of ketchup? So that everyone gets their own personal bottle of ketchup? Is that
whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes. Gosh, that was like one of the come to Ice and Fire Con and share memories with
like here's the thing, like if ever I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe the ketchup service will be better this year, the fact that I had to call up multiple times just to get a room because the first times the person told me that all the rooms were booked up, and apparently this was not the case. That does not inspire hope for the ketchup service. So
okay, I'm just gonna say this. I've only been to Ice and Fire Con the one time, but I wanted to go before I tried to get anyway. The problem with getting the room booked is an ongoing thing. You just have to stick with it, and eventually you're going to get the right person on the other end of the phone that can handle your room problems. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
And I got it squared away, but I just had a day of panic because I'm like, I told Steven I had the room.
Right.
And now there's none left.
And yeah. It's fine. If I had to go and buy a tent, if I had to get air mattresses, put you in my closet. You guys are
But
going.
here's the thing, and I don't want to like. I feel like I've just been so like going on about my sad story throughout the past year, and you guys are great because you're always willing to listen. So, and I'm sorry for getting mopey again, but it's like I just need this trip so badly. I just like I was so stressed out last year when the trip was happening because for a completely different set of reasons having to do with the same the same uh,
Situation.
situation, but a different part of it.
Different path. Yeah.
And the weekend was such a godsend because even with everything going on, I had the best weekend of my life, and it was so wonderful. And so this year, I'm looking forward to just now. I've gone through like the worst aspect of the whole situation, and now I'm just looking for something to just relieve all that stress and to just be with my friends and my family and have a good time because there hasn't been much of that so far in the new year. So I'm looking forward to it.
April's going to be great. I swear it.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Thank you for the reminder of
There better not be any more accidents this year. Okay. I will not stand for it.
It's a long drive to town. That's all I'm saying. It's a long drive to town. But oh gosh, I'm so excited. I'm just ready for this. I'm I'm ready to see all my homies. I'm so stoked for this. I want to like play Cards Against Humanity with you assholes. I want I want to like go to dance like nobody's looking with you assholes because you're my family and I love you and it's I want to hug Laura again and I just
it's great because I haven't seen I got to see a number of you guys in Williamsburg a little later in the year last year when I had my Maryland trip. And
last year was a feast of us all managing to find the time, the way, the means to get together after
but after everything that happened later in the year, it feels like it's been an eternity. I just I'm so desperate just to see you guys and hug you guys and never let go. And also the fact that and I'm really kind of proud of myself because it would be very easy for someone with my shy personality type to be like, well, I've made my group of friends. I don't have to stretch myself anymore. But I've actually gotten closer with even more people over the past year who now I'm looking forward to hanging out with for the first time. And maybe not like see for the first time, but there were a number of people that I also sort of only passingly knew, and now I'm much more familiar with them, and I would hope I can even say friends with a number of them. So it'll just be a joy to be able to see and embrace even more people.
Yeah, like last year, John, you got to roll in, with a crew. You weren't going to a convention by yourself, little ticket holder, like I'm here by myself, hope that people are nice to me, or whatever. It's like you rolled in with a crew like a boss. And now this year you've like expanded that. It's like if you had like your crew last time, now it's going to be like you're coming into the bar at Cheers and people are going to go, John!
Which is
And,
so weird because like last year was my most inactive year for my own channel. So like I've had no like personal branding that way, but I just feel like I've been more outgoing, you know,
you have.
within the fandom of talking to people. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Cool Gamer. I'm sorry, this is probably not the best example of one of our streams because we're not, we haven't been precisely on topic this week just because the
We
wonderful
have no
Steven
topic.
is out sick. So I promise you, I can promise you two things. One, we're usually actually talking about the thing that we say
That
we're
we
going to talk about.
advertise.
And two, that being the case, we're no less chaotic.
True. True that.
But we're at least within the ballpark.
Yeah, okay.
This
You go
time,
off the rails, trust me.
this time, there's no ballpark.
Where we're going, there is no roads.
Yeah. But no, I am just, yeah, it's going to be so great because I'm looking forward to seeing everybody and just honestly just feeling safe. And there hasn't been a lot of that for me this year. And when I'm around you guys, it just, you're my family. I just, especially like, I've told you guys this before. It is so weird how things work out where, I had to say goodbye to my mom last year. And it's just the crazy way the universe works that as I was preparing for that, you guys came into my life. And so the fact that now I have you guys are there for me. So I'm just looking forward to seeing you guys. It's, we're always here on, the streams and in the Zoom chats, but it's a different thing when we actually get to be physically in each other's company. So
Yeah,
I can't wait.
it's really something special. It is really special when we talk to one another all the time. Like we talk about, like as we mentioned earlier, we have our ever present continual Zoom link that you can avail yourself of if you email we3dragons@gmail.com and want to become a part of our spunky little adventuring group. Um, and we can, at the click of a mouse, I can be talking with a really good friend, any time of the day or night, it seems, because people are on. We have people from all over the world who inhabit our Zoom. But there's just something about something about a hug, John, I'm gonna hug you. And it just makes it that much more special when we are able to be with one another,
Yeah.
do like friend things. So yeah, just hanging out with my peeps in that enormous like sunken den thing at the lodge with the fireplace roaring and the beautiful view of the lake out back there, or staggering back from some random party that we went to at the cabins by someone who knows. We were there. It was fine. Everybody was invited. Don't be an asshole or you will get kicked out. But yeah, it's just great. It's like like I said, it's like the best extended family reunion. Like I have my brothers, I have my crew, my cousins, And then we're just going to go see all the aunts and uncles and second and third and fourth and fifth cousins, and it's fine. It's great. We all love it. We might meet cousins we never knew before. It's great.
And I will say, you don't need to elaborate. There was something that happened last year that you know about.
Mm-hmm.
And
there were a lot of things that happened last year that I know about.
And let's just say there might be a repeat event. So,
right.
I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There is a myth, and I have seen it happen myself. There's magic that happens at Ice and Fire Con. More fandom couples have resulted from Ice and Fire Con than you would believe. And these are not. I mean, these are great couples. So if you didn't have another reason, if you needed another reason to come to Ice and Fire Con, come to Ice and Fire Con because there's magic in the air.
God bless that magic.
God bless the magic. Everyone.
But no, I don't know what that emoji was, but
oh, it's the heart emoji.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not showing up for me, so.
Okay. How about this one? You recognize that one?
Yep, I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just going to be great, and I'm so thrilled that it's still 2 months away, but it feels
it's not as far as it has been. It feels like it's right around the corner, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And it's something to be excited about, and like, oh, I need to go out. I need to get my cosplay together. Oh, look at this Amazon thing. I need to purchase it.
Yeah, like I said, I've been trying to also get myself into some shape for the trip.
It's a long walk to the cabins and back. You gotta have your cardio.
Oh yeah, I've been doing my walks around the neighborhood. So
getting that cardio up, John.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So many different layers to the conversation.
So that, yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Is there anything else specific this year that you're looking forward to?
Well, I don't know what the panels are. I don't really care. But if something strikes my interest, then I will. I'll show up for it. I'm gonna probably get another T-shirt or two. I got some lovely artwork last year. I got this at Ice and Fire Con last year, and maybe the artist will be back again this year, and I can get another print. But we're gonna eat in that we are eating in that restaurant. That is happening. We are. And maybe I'll actually go to the bar this year. I didn't go to the bar last year. I think maybe I might go to the bar once, maybe twice. Somebody will have to drag me in there, but yeah. But I just want to see everybody. That's it. That's what I look forward to when I go to a convention. I don't care where the venue is. If it's 1,000 degrees outside, if we're sitting on the sun, I don't care. There's air conditioning. I will stay indoors. If it's raining, if it's raining cats and dogs outside, it's fine. I'll stay indoors. I don't need a big venue. I just need my friends. I just need the people that I've come to love and admire and cherish. That's all I need for a good time. So with that, I think we're done.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, all you guys coming to Ice and Fire Con, I can't wait to see you. If you're not yet coming to Ice and Fire Con, are you sure you don't want to?
Are you sure you don't want to? I don't know. Are there tickets still available? I don't know if there's tickets still available.
I don't know. I think there are. I think maybe the price just went up or something.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's worth it. You know what, John? Next year, cabin.
Well, it's not going to be next year.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
So,
you're after next for definite.
Yeah, and if they do, I think it's going to be in a different location. So
okay, just burst my bubble. I don't care where it is. Like I said, it could be on the sun. I'll find a way to get there.
I mean, I've already established that I'm not like emotionally attached to to the Deer Creek Lodge. You know, if they wanted my personal investment, they need to get the catch-up service right. Okay. If they're not going to do that, then then what do I care?
You can spend your catch-up money elsewhere.
Exactly. I mean, but point in their favor, they don't drop their orange juice.
No, the orange juice was always there when you wanted it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. Do a little recap. So season 2 discussion of Legend of Vox Machina getting postponed 2 weeks from now. Next week, Stephen and I will be doing a retro review of the 2003 classic Underworld. I say that, but I actually really do love that movie. It's it's a silly bit of fun, but it is fun. And then on the horizon, we're planning on going through the entirety of Battlestar Galactica bit by bit. So, we'll talk with Stephen about what we want to do as far as the miniseries goes. If we want to fold that into season 1, that's up to you guys, because that's an added 3 hours onto the 13 episodes of season 1. So, so that'll just come down to if you guys want less, to have to squeeze in for that.
John, I have to watch it. If I have to watch it, they have to watch it. That's it. That's the rules. Okay.
But yeah, so that's I think that's more planning ahead than we've done for a while.
Yeah, what is planning ahead? Like,
yeah.
We wing it. Chaos. Kings of chaos are we.
Yep. Hire Stephen as a DM. Because you should. He's awesome.
He's great.
Yeah. And I don't have anything going on over on my channel right now because
I don't have anything.
Yeah. I'm still I'm like planning for my return. So, but what I want to do this time is actually like plan ahead, know what I'm going to discuss, get all my materials ready, like the photos and title cards and all that, and have that stuff in advance so that I'm not scrambling week to week to try and, get ready, because that was one of my downfalls previously, is that I was trying to squeeze all that in while also preparing weekly for this stream.
Yeah.
And it's no good that way.
Yeah. And trying to deal with life things and, I'm proud of you, John.
I'll get there.
You'll get there.
Yeah. So yeah, and when I get that going, we'll schedule Fringe, because that needs to happen.
We've talked about it for years now, John. We're just gonna have to just sit down and fucking do it,
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. Kartik, I don't know what to do with you. He's a bigger troll than Potter, and that's saying something.
I don't know. We haven't been graced with Putter for a while, so I think we've just grown used
Maybe,
to.
yeah, maybe that's it.
He needs to come, start watching streams again and reclaim his authority.
His title.
Yeah.
He needs to reclaim his title. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for another week.
Yep. We're 10 seconds away from 2 hours, so we made it. Thank you all. Thank you all for your indulgence this week. We had to just do an impromptu whatever stream.
I think we did okay.
I think we did good. Yeah. All right. So
we had fun.
Yeah. Love you guys. Underworld next week. Vox Machina season 2 the week after. And looking forward to Ice and Fire Con because I miss all of you so much. So have a great evening. And of course, you know what it is. Peace. And be excellent.
Be excellent to each other.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.